Good evening, everybody. How are y'all doing? My name is Kartik. I'm one of the co-founders of ETHGlobal, and I'm super excited to welcome all of you to ETHGlobal Lisbon. Can't wait to get started. This is not a conference. If you've been to an ETHGlobal hackathon, well, if you've been to an ETHGlobal event, you'll know that this is a hackathon. And what makes us different is our focus on a couple of key things. Our goal and our mission is to onboard thousands of developers into the Web3 ecosystem. And we do this by running a lot of amazing developer-focused hackathons. What makes these events unique are these three things. Our focus is on builders, and builders only. These are opportunities for you to learn, get help, and grow as individuals. Whether you want to learn how to be a better developer, whether it's front-end, back-end, full stack, Solidity, anything you name it, we want to be there to help you get there and give you the resources you need to be successful. And we really believe that showing is way more important than telling, which means anything that you do today will be focused on a demo and not a PowerPoint, because that's the code we want to see, not just something you want to hear you talk about on what you think is interesting. And this is something we've been doing for the last 5 years. We've been to all different continents, whether it's Argentina, Africa, North America, Asia, Waterloo, where we all started. This was London just before COVID. We got back last year with Amsterdam, Mexico, and South America, San Francisco, in India last fall, and just a month ago in Tokyo. And I'm super excited to be bringing ETHGlobal Hackathons here in Lisbon. This is our first event in Portugal. And we were absolutely blown away by the excitement and the interest that we got from everybody here. There are over 975 attendees in this building this weekend, and that's amazing. From that, 650 of these are hackers who are coming in from 51 different countries, and about 30% of them are brand new to Web3. How do we define what's new to Web3? We define this as existing developers who are interested in trying what they can do in Web3 for the first time, coming in from Web2. So these are already existing designers, engineers who are currently thinking about what they should be looking at in Web3. So I can't wait for all of them to feel welcome and get a sense of our community. We put everybody on a map to see where people are coming in from, and we have people from 6 different continents here, just here this weekend, and so many from Europe and UK. On top of all of those hackers, we have 176 ecosystem builders. These are amazing partners and the engineers and designers and product managers from all of the protocols you've heard of, and 23 technical mentors who are here 24/7 to help you get the help you need to get your project to the finish line. On top of that, all of that already happened a few hours ago. We're doing 17 workshops, which are on different protocols. And because this is not a hackathon conference, this is a hackathon. We're only 5 talks, which happened earlier today. So focus is very much on building. I want to give you all the time you need to make something that you're excited about happen and come to life by Sunday. And on top of all of that, over $275,000 in prizes. And we're going to be talking about all those prizes and everything you can win just in a few minutes. And 24 incredible partners who are here making this event what it is and there to help you succeed. So I want to give a quick shout out to all of these companies. So please join me in thanking with a massive round of applause to 1inch, WorldCoin, Optimism, Polygon, Gnosis Chain, Airstack, ApeCoin, zkBob, Fuel Labs, Safe, Ethereum Foundation, Cartesi, UMA, MetaMask, Filecoin Virtual Machine, Lens Protocol, Uniswap Foundation, The Graph, Aave Grandstyle, Mantle, Chainlink, Sysmo, Scroll, and Neon Foundation. All these companies are giving amazing prizes, and they're here to help you really understand what you can do to save yourself a lot of time in building what you're going to be building, and just learn about cool projects that are up and coming in the space. So I'm going to keep this very small in terms of focusing on a few things that we want to get across for all of you about this weekend. So I want to talk about what the venue and everything looks like we have planned for you this weekend, how you can get all the help, all the prizes, workshops, and talks, anything about team formations. A lot of you are still looking for ideas, and how judging is going to work on Sunday. So first things first, do not use Wi-Fi hotspots. We're trying to make sure that the internet is going to work in this middle part. That's where most of the signal noise comes from because it's a massive area and you see a lot of bouncing and echo. And the way all the routers work is they interfere with each other and they're automatically set to fight each other on the waves, trying to increase their band frequency, which means the second you turn on your Wi-Fi because you think the internet's slow, you make it worse because now the internet has to compensate for other frequency in there. I can talk to you about all the technical stuff too, but just don't turn your Wi-Fi hotspots on because you end up making it worse for everybody in that nearby radius. We're going to be keeping everything consistent. I did a speed check just 5 minutes before this thing. It was 300 down. So please be assured that we're taking Wi-Fi very seriously. Now let's talk about security. Everyone must have their wristband and their badges on them at all times. If you lose your wristband, we will not be issuing another one to you. It's fine if you misplace your badge. That's all right. We can print another one. But if you miss that, if you cut this off tonight or some other thing happens and you can't find it, that does mean that you will not be allowed back into the building. I want to make sure that everybody feels safe, their stuff is safe here, and everybody's following the same rules. So please make sure that you don't lose your wristband. On top of all that, don't leave your belongings unattended. This event and this venue is open 24/7. We are going to not be responsible if you lose anything or if you misplace anything. There will be a lost and found in case things come up, but please make sure that you keep all of your valuables with you at all times. Now let's quickly talk about all the stuff that we have planned and what this venue looks like. There are 2 floors here, the ground floor where you are sitting right now. This is where we're gonna be talking today and on Sunday for all the closing ceremonies. All of the hacking stuff is here. At the back of this room is where the food and the catering is. On the sides of all the walls, that's where our partners are. And if you want to relax, there's a really nice lounge in there by Cartesi. You can check that out in that corner, which is to my left and your right. And that brings us to the second floor. There's more hacking spots on the second floor as well, and that's where also the workshop rooms are. Nothing changes for the whole weekend with the exception of one small thing on Sunday. On Sunday, where the workshop rooms were, is where judging will happen. So nothing else for hackers, but on Sunday, you'll be all going upstairs, and that's where you'll be presenting your projects to our judges. And I'll talk about that more in a second. We also have a lot of late night snacks. So we just did dinner, but in about 3 hours, we're going to be serving more food. So that's going to happen at midnight today and tomorrow. There's a massive photo booth here. You can take a digital photo and get a selfie. Make sure you get a photo with your team and get that email to yourself. We're also going to be doing a couple of yoga sessions tomorrow, and all of that is also on the schedule. You can check that out tomorrow afternoon. And that's all the activities and the venue-related things. In terms of communication, I want to keep things very streamlined. Everything we're going to talk about this event on logistics will be on Discord. And you can go there to see everything that everybody's talking about. This includes talking to our partners, our mentors, and any official announcements from the ETHGlobal team. And that's all on ethglobal.com/Discord. This also means that everything that may change will also be communicated to all of you on Discord. But whatever you see on the website is the source of truth. If something is running late or something changes or we swap a room, we're going to make sure the website is updated first. And whatever the website says is what's happening. A lot of the workshops are over, so that example is not the best situation to talk about right now, but in case something changes for judging, you want to check the website at all times, and that's where everything is going to be. And in case you want to know what the website is, it's just ethglobal.com/Lisbon. And of course, remember, you're in person. This is not an online event anymore. Just talk to each other. If you want to try to find somebody, you want to find a partner, and you want to know how some protocol works, you can just walk up to that table and ask them. Or if you're curious about what the team next to you is working on, ask around. If you're really stuck on this React bug that you can't figure out, just shout, "Who knows React?" and maybe you'll get some help. This actually does work. But let's talk about how the hackathon itself is set up. A lot of you are here for the first time, and I want to give you a quick, brief intro on how everything is laid out. Hacking has officially begun as of 6 p.m., which means you can all start working on your projects. You can work on a project on your own or with a team. If you are working with a team, you can have up to 5 members on your team. And you have the next 36 hours to hack, 36.5 hours to hack. And this is the time you can use to get more ideas, talk to a lot of partners to see what you can not repeat from scratch, or just use and leverage some existing protocols, or talk to other peers and see if you want to meet somebody who has a skill that you're particularly excited about. And after all of that, on Sunday at 9 a.m., that's when submissions are going to be due. The way everything is set up is that everything you're going to be doing this weekend should be done from scratch, which means you cannot build on an existing personal project. What you are doing should be started today as a program and a Git repo or a code or a design, and you have only today till Sunday to work on it. We're going to obviously verify everything that you submit. Everything you do must be open source and publicly inspectable by us. And on top of that, only RSVP'd hackers are eligible to win, which means that if somebody was supposed to be on your team and something changed for them and they couldn't come in person and they want to hack online, that would not be allowed. They will automatically be removed from your dashboards later tonight. Everybody must be in person. And if they are not checked in, they will also be automatically removed. And if you have any questions or if any edge cases that you were worried about, just come find anybody on the ETHGlobal team. We'll be happy to kind of look at any questions that you have. And of course, we have a lot of things for beginners and experts and anybody with all skill sets. The workshops accounted for first-timers to people who've been in the ecosystem for years. All that information is also on your dashboards in the info center. And everything that we did today was live streamed and recorded, which means that if you missed a workshop, you can just go to ethglobal.tv right now and just replay any of those talks and watch them on demand and pause wherever you need to pause. And on top of that, you can just find those speakers here in this room and ask them questions. You're in person. And if a few of you who are still looking to meet teammates, right after I stop talking in an hour, it's going to be an hour talking, we are going to be hosting a workshop on team matching and team formation. There's a lot of people who are still looking for teams. There are a lot of people who want to join other teams who will bring in specific skill sets, like a Solidity developer or a front-end developer. And if you are still in that position, you can head over to Workshop Room 1 at 9:30, and you can meet others who are also looking to join a different team. And these are also people with ideas who want certain members who can help them make those ideas happen. And on your dashboard, there's also a Find a Team feature, which means that if you select it, I'm looking for teammates, or I want to be contacted by somebody, you can search people who have specific skills, who are also looking to join a team. All of that shows up on the Team tab on your ETHGlobal Lisbon dashboard. And remember, 36 hours, 36.5 hours. Sunday is when submissions are due, and what that means is we're going to split up a few ways to do judging. And I'll talk about judging in just a second, but there's a lot of help here that we want to provide all of you. So if you're stuck, we have a lot of mentors who are here to help. How do you know who's a mentor? Find people with this jacket. They're very easy to spot. I can see already 10 of them in front of me. And if you see anybody like this, they're not here doing construction. They're actually here to help you with your code. So these are all of our mentors. They're going to be here 24/7. They're taking different shifts. There'll be somebody here at all times ready to answer any questions. So you can find them in person. You can also ask them in the mentorship channel on Discord, and you just add channel there, and any mentor will be here to pick up that question and come find you or help you debug all those things directly on Discord. Now let's talk about judging. There are 2 tracks for judging. Once you submit a project, you'll have the option to specify if you want to go through the main judging or just the partner judging. Now, this gets a little bit confusing, so bear with me for a second. Partner judging is if you want any of the prizes from the partners. If you also want to be one of the top 10 teams, that's what the main judging is for. It's not a choice of either or. It just means that if you're going to do the main judging, you get to do both. But if you don't want to do main judging, you still have to do partner judging. I'll clarify that more, but what this means is after you submit your project, in both situations, you will have 4 minutes to demo your project to the judges. We recommend that you also record a video of your demo in case something goes wrong live, but live demos are preferred because we really want to see and make sure that what you did actually works and is not hard-coded. Also, submission will take you a bit of time. It'll take you at least 45 minutes, if not 1 hour, to fill out the form to submit your project because you have to write a lot of information about what you did, how are you using different APIs, how are you using different protocols, and show us the actual line in the code base, which means that you have to prep for it. Submission is going to be available on your dashboards tomorrow, so you get to look at what the form is asking for and prepare accordingly, but make sure you give yourself a little bit more time. Really don't do this last minute. All that is going to happen on your dashboard. Everything is going to be visible in multiple steps. You get to check out all of that quite easily. And in that process, you get to specify, these are all the prizes I want to apply for. That means you pick all the companies that you want to go for, and the ones you select will be the prizes, and your project will be made notified to you, to the other company, and they will know that they're going to expect you to judge your project for that prize. And after you submit your project, you will then have to go to main judging if you checked in the main judging, and also the partner judging. But if you don't want to go to the main judging, you only have to go to the partners' booths. So if you want 3 prizes from 3 different companies, you will go to each of those booths and do your 4-minute demo 3 times. So that's 3 4-minute demos, and you have to make sure you have enough time for all of that. So don't pick 20 things, because you will have to demo 20 times. If you also do main judging, that means you have 3 + 1, because you have to go to the main judging on the 2nd floor, and then individual 3 sponsors. I don't think I'm helping clarify anything, so I'll just repeat that again later. But make sure that you account for a lot of time for judging if you're applying for multiple prizes. And this can be out of order, which means that if you know they want to present to these 3 companies, you can go to any one of them at any time, or if you also are going to do the main judging, you can go there first, or come down here first and do anything out of order. None of that's going to be different, but just keep in mind that everybody has to see your demo to win and see any prizes. That was a lot. Let's wrap up. Code of conduct. This still is an in-person event, and as part of that, you must follow and adhere to our community guidelines and our code of conduct. All the rules in terms of IP, what is allowed, media policy, how to do any of these things, all of that is defined on ethglobal.com/rules. But the gist of it is that please be respectful for each other, and harassment or abuse in any form will not be tolerated. We will kick you out if we hear something, or if you're seen doing something that is not appropriate. And if you need any help, please contact anybody on the ETHGlobal team, or report anything that you feel like makes like a violation of our code of conduct policy, and we'll take action immediately. So that's everything on the logistics. That will help you get ready for everything we're going to do the next 36 hours. But let's go into some other pieces that we want to talk about, and that is bringing on some amazing partners who are here to help you succeed this weekend. And they're going to come on one by one, and we're going to talk about who they are, what they do, and why they're excited to be part of this event, and what you can do and what you can win if you build on some of their SDKs. So first up, I'd like to invite Maddie from Optimism. So without further ado, please give Maddie a big round of applause.
Hello. Let's get this here. All right. Hi. I'm Maddie. I'm the head of developer relations for OP Labs. We're part of the Optimism Collective Building Optimism. And there's a couple things you need to know about Optimism. So Optimism is a few things. It is an EVM equivalent layer 2. Main thing you need to know about that is just if you can ship it on ETH mainnet, it is trivially easy for you to ship it on Optimism. And in fact, you should, because it is scalable, faster, cheaper, and it'll let you do different things, let you build different applications to increase that throughput. So it is also a modular tech stack. So we make the OP stack, which is our open source modular tech that powers everything behind Optimism. And the important thing there is because it is modular, if you have ever wanted to rip out a different piece of a roll-up and do your own thing with it, now is your chance, and we have a bounty for that. So these are the 3 bounties that we have. And so the 3 of them are hack the OP stack, and that is where take the OP stack and bend it to your will. If you're doing anything with identity, if you're the kind of person that gets really excited about attestations or verified credentials or anything that identity can emerge out of on-chain actions, we would like to see your project, and we would like to see that on Optimism. So come talk to me, come talk to the team. We're sitting right over that way. And that gets us to the pool prize. So we have 4K for if you don't fit into either of these 2 categories and you deploy on Optimism, then you qualify for this. And I'm looking for Kelvin. Kelvin, are you out there? Can you raise your hand? Aha, yeah, Kelvin is over that way. So if you look over there, so the Optimism booth is over there. Look for the trees, look for the greenery. So go talk to Kelvin, and we have some testnet ETH for you. So we'll give you some girly ETH to help you ship your project. We want to hear what you're building. Ultimately, we just want to help people build really cool stuff. And yeah, we're here to help make it happen. So that's it for me. I'm happy to pass it on to the next person, and thank you all for being here.
Amazing. Thank you. Next up, Miguel from WorldCoin. Please give Miguel a big round of applause.
Yeah, everyone. I'm Miguel, or bon dia, I guess. And I would usually start this presentation by talking about civil attacks and how it's important. But realistically, over the last few months, we've seen the world change really, really fast. We got stable diffusion. We could see that not working. But we saw Stable Diffusion, ChatGPT, all of these amazing AI tools. And being able to tell who is human on the internet is becoming way more important than it ever was before, even outside of crypto. And so this raises a lot of really important questions, both about how do we fairly distribute the value that all of this AI technology generates, and also how do we know what's real online? How do we know who is human? And to solve this issue, we've been working on something called WallID, which is a protocol that lets you fully anonymously verify that someone is a real human, and moreover, that they are performing an action only once. So for example, receiving an airdrop for the first time, or claiming an NFT, or voting a governance proposal, while still managing to keep the anonymity. This is super flexible. It can be used in a lot of really cool crypto ways, like governance, like I mentioned, or even Web2 ways, like joining a Discord or signing in to an application. And all of this is powered by the orb, which makes sure that you're a real human and issues you a WallID in a completely anonymous way. If you want to get onboarded by the orb or you want to learn more about how it works, our booth is over there, and I'm sure my colleagues will be excited to explain how it works. And we've made this really cool product that uses zero-knowledge cryptography and all of the orb magicness to be able to make it really easy to verify that someone is a human online, and we've made it this easy to integrate. This is all of the code that it takes on your front end to be able to get a zero-knowledge proof that then the user is a unique human that you can then verify on-chain via our smart contract or off-chain via our API. And yeah, like I said, WallID, it's really, really, really easy to integrate. It works on and off-chain, and kind of solves civil resistance, which is something that we've been wanting to for a while. And so we have lots of use cases. On our documentation, we also have an extended version of ideas that you may want to build with. And we have 20K in prizes for all of you, both for best overall, creative use cases, governance applications, signing with WorldCoin, a lot of stuff to play with. And there's this link, worldcoin.org/Lisbon23, where you will be able to find all of the resources that I just mentioned, starter kits, documentation, all that you may be able to think. So look that up. If you have any questions, our booth is over there, and let's get to building.
Thank you. Next, I want to bring on Tony from Polygon. Please give Tony a big round of applause.
Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. GM, my name is Tony. I'm from Polygon, and I just came to tell you about some of the exciting prizes that we have. Polygon is a scaling solution for Ethereum, and we have a number of different offerings, and we also have a very cool identity solution called Polygon ID. I will not take up a lot of your time, but I'm just keen to make sure that you guys understand some of the bounties that we have available. First of all, we have 5K available for the best cross-chain hacks. So using the brand new Polygon ZK EVM, I'm not sure if some of you have actually heard of it or not, but it's our very, well, it's the very first mainnet ZK EVM that's on mainnet, mainnet beta. And I'm hoping the scroll guys don't throw things on the stage at me at this point. Okay, cool. I survived saying that. And we want you to be able to actually build on top of the protocol and be able to send messages to and from the ZK EVM. We also have up for grabs the best use of Polygon ID's verifiable credentials. And Polygon ID is our decentralized identity solution. And if you want to build on top of Polygon ID, we have the core engineering team that's available here. So if you come to our booth over there and you have any questions and thoughts about how to build on Polygon ID, just feel free to reach out. We are here to support you. And if you do end up being successful, there's a total of 5K available there. The last prize, well, second to last prize is the best public good with account abstraction or gasless transactions. And so we want you to build public goods because public goods are good. And so we want you to actually use account abstraction and gasless transactions to be able to power the next wave of public goods because gas fees are not exactly accessible for the global south. And we recognize that, and we want to accelerate the development of more equitable public goods. And finally, we have the pool prize, which is anybody and everybody who deploys on Polygon. We just need you to tweet about it, and if you go to the website, we'll show you the criteria. So I really hope that everybody is excited about building on Polygon. You could build on Polygon ZK EVM if you're looking for a chain. You could build on Polygon POS if you're looking to actually deploy to our side chain, or you could build using Polygon ID. And extra points if you use Polygon ID for me because I'm really passionate about that particular project. But thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you, Tony. All right, next up is Sergey from OneEdge. Please welcome Sergey.
So hi everyone, it's a pleasure for me to stay here because, and of course hi everyone, like hi Lisbon, and it's a pleasure for me to stay here because we were born on Hackathon. Exactly 4 years ago, 19th May 2019, we were participating on ETH New York on Ethereum Global Hackathon, and that's me. Not this guy on the air mattress. That's me here with the blanket. Second sleepless night. My body stopped to warm up anymore, so I had to find a solution. So, and all the Red Bull drinks are not mine. It's actually from these guys here, who were also on the table. So, just in 4 years, we grew to like a huge project. We have built a lot of products. The first product what we have built on a hackathon over 2 sleepless nights. I personally didn't sleep 56 hours, so over this weekend. We have built an aggregation protocol. We invented the aggregation for decentralized exchanges. We came to the idea with my co-founder Anton that it makes sense to aggregate and exchange multiple liquidity sources in one single atomic transaction to improve the user experience and the execution, the rate for the user. Since then, we have built a lot of things like liquidity protocol, limit order protocol, order book protocol, our Fusion, the self-custody wallet. We are working on own hardware wallet, which will be the first open source hardware wallet in the world. So everyone can participate and contribute and benefit. And of course, we are working on kind of institutional products as well to open the market for Web3 also for institutionals. 70% of market share of the aggregation protocol, 80% of limit orders protocol, 4.5 million of unique wallets, 180 core contributors around the globe who are participating as software engineers, experts, marketing people, business people working on OneEdge network, and overall we raised 190 million US dollars. And this is kind of a good example maybe for everyone here. You can build your own unicorn by just continue to build. Yeah, just if you fail, just stand up and try it again, and you will get it. I'm pretty sure. And if you need any help, you can come to us. We have grants, we have bounties. Here for this special hackathon, we have 20,000 US dollars of bounties. Back in 2019, I won just $350 bonus from ENS with OneEdge, and we were able to pay my airplane ticket back to Stuttgart, to Germany. So here you have the chance to just get 20K in total. So build things. You can just come with a new innovation. We don't care it's about 1 inch or not. Just if you solve a problem, come to us and you get a good amount of money, and you have also a chance to get a grant from our DAO, for example. So we have our Fusion where you can build on top of it, and on top of our delegation and staking system, you can also get a grant. So just come to our booth, we will help you. So that's it. Thank you very much. It was once again pleasure also for the organizers. Really pleasure to stay here.
Thank you, Sergey. It's amazing hackers like you that kind of achieve something amazing and bring and share back to the community. So I'm excited to have one and support us too. Well, next I want to bring on Ale to talk about Gnosis Chain. Please give Ale a big round of applause.
Thank you. I'm the last one, guys. So I'll be very brief. There is only one slide. As you may know, Gnosis is a community-run chain, proof of stake, and fully secured by a collection or a set of validators with 127 plus K validators securing the network. It's EVM, so all the tool sets, it's supported. If we go, I lied. There are 2 slides. This is the one. So if you scan this QR code, you will get access to the documentation site, where you will find all the protocol specifications, how to run or how to use an RPC node, get some funding. So please don't, start pushing too much the faucet. We can help you there. We have a booth. And also set up and configure all the dev tools. There are $20K in prices for innovative dApps using AI, Hashi, that is an underlying technology for bridging, and account abstraction using the Safe SDK. We have a booth over there, so come and get help. And please, please enjoy your time hacking and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Well, those were some of our amazing partners. There's a lot more prizes that we're giving out, and we'll talk about them in just a few minutes. But before we get to the prizes and kind of let all of you get back to hacking, we want to do a quick conversation about how this ecosystem has evolved. And specifically, a lot of themes that we've seen the last few years. We want to reflect on that and understand kind of how things are moving ahead. And what I want to specifically talk about is how DeFi has changed and what we've learned in the last few years and what we're excited about in the future. And for this, I want to bring on Stani, who's co-founder of Aave and Lens, to share a few of his insights over the last few years. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Stani on stage. All right. GM, BD. Well, Stani, I am super excited to welcome you here because you've almost been to every single ETHGlobal hackathon ever. And that's, one, amazing because you've been part of this whole ecosystem from its initial foundings. Not just ETHGlobal, just Ethereum itself. And what I want to spend the next 10, 15 minutes on is talking about how things have changed. Let's start all the way at the beginning. How did you get the idea of Aave, and how was Aave started? Or ETHLen, as I used to know it.
Yeah, been quite a long journey, and it's actually very fascinating to be here now after a few years and seeing the community grow. These hackathons used to be very small. It was just basically me and Kartik. No.
I remember a few years ago we did the world's biggest Ethereum event as a hackathon, and it was only 400 people.
Yeah, so it's grown quite substantially. So it's super exciting to see like how Ethereum or even like beyond Web3 community has been growing, specifically the developer community. And very early, what was fascinating for me is that if you think about blockchain and what we're trying to solve, I personally tried to solve kind of like a smaller challenge of being able to use a crypto asset as a collateral to unlock liquidity as a use case. But what I noticed, what got my interest is that blockchain and Web3 is something where you can solve challenges globally. So you solve something for someone, but it can be applied to everyone. It's basically a way to create democratic software, borderless, that doesn't take into account the background. So you can create like a very neutral software that can help people across globally. And that was something very appealing to me. And I think crypto in general had this kind of like perception as well, and got me in the first place to build something interesting. And finance, I've been always a finance geek, and seeing programmable smart contracts was something that got me excited to actually build the very predecessor ETHLand before Aave.
What was DeFi like 5 years ago?
Well, back then there wasn't DeFi, so there was one decentralized exchange, and the kind of like idea of what if you could actually trade against smart contracts and they have specific rules, and you can create orders without giving custody of your funds.
He's talking about Ether Delta in case somebody remembers.
Yeah, there was probably Ether Delta and something else, Kyber.
Radar Relay.
Radar Relay.
Bancor.
We met someone from Radar Relay today, which was very strange because there is a lot of projects and people in the space. Even these projects, they change and evolve, but you see people staying in the space, which is quite amazing at the same time. But it was very small. So over the years now, I've seen decentralized finance grow substantially, even peaked, I think at some point, over 200 billion worth of value locked across different smart contract infrastructures. I think Aave peaked at 28 billion or something. So substantially grown quite a lot. It's still small compared to finance in general, but for us, a bunch of kids building a future of finance, that was quite amazing.
From what you initially wanted Aave to be and what it is now, do you feel like you accomplished the mission? How has it changed? How does it differ from your original vision?
Well, the original vision was just democratizing finance, providing everyone access, and mainly the same equal opportunities. So that has been always the vision of what we want to do, increasing financial and also social participation. And looking back now, I think we've been able to achieve some sort of kind of like success in our community. I think kind of like the game isn't over yet, because I just feel that DeFi has so much potential. It's just, for me, when I talk about DeFi, I usually think about DeFi as just finance. It's just better, faster, stronger finance. And I think that's the mindset you have to think about it if you want to build beyond our community. So I think the path has been right for the Aave protocol, especially because it's now decentralized, it's governed by the community, so anyone from here can become a delegator, create a delegator platform, and become a kind of like a protocol politician. Or you can, as a developer, contribute directly to the protocol and improve it. And I think that's a big part of decentralization. So I think we're in the right path.
That's kind of interesting, because I feel like we've seen DeFi go from nothing to something. I mean, forget different primitives, but we didn't have stablecoins until a few years ago. Like, we remember this space before stablecoins existed. And you kind of saw everything through the peak of DeFi summer, and then a lot of things happened. Good old times.
I miss those yields.
Well, let's not forget COVID in that same window. But do you feel like interest in DeFi has gone down?
In terms of like the sentiment, I would say not necessarily. No, I think that I meet more people that are interested in decentralized finance. Something that has changed, especially over the past maybe couple of years, and especially the past year, is that DeFi is no longer the entry point to Web3. that basically means that we onboard more developers and more users into the space that doesn't necessarily come from the DeFi perspective. That might be the creator economy, that might be through DAO participation, that might be through Web3 social. But that's actually a good thing because you might onboard from one particular area, but you might then gain interest in DeFi. And I've seen this happen, also in the space. And I would say that building DeFi has changed a lot. So there's not anymore kind of like a gap filling. So especially like a few years now, we've been filling different kinds of gaps in Web3. We're looking what kind of transactioning we have in traditional finance and try to kind of like create similar, maybe a bit more improved ecosystem or improved protocol. Maybe it's like swapping or lending and have it in DeFi. And I think now it's just kind of like a different time to build where you have to build in a way where you have to figure out like what is the thing that actually suck in traditional finance.
It's a big list.
Yeah, it's a big list, but it's also a challenging list because whatever isn't working, and you have to figure out that how you can actually use blockchain technology, smart contracts, everything that we have, and actually improve those challenges. And I think the traditional finance has a lot of things that can be solved with the blockchain, with the transparency, the accountability, and also the immutability. And everything can be programmable. So I just think that it requires a bit more effort, which is a good thing because whatever you're going to build, if it's going to move the needle, it's going to move a lot. And that will bring new users into the space. So times are just a bit different now.
Got some fans here. Well, that's what I love about hackathons. It's you get to keep things just real, and sometimes a little bit interruptive. But that's an interesting point because I think a few years ago, kind of the narrative, but also just what we saw was DeFi is the killer app for Ethereum, and we saw programmability to finance. But now there's so many other entry points. DAOs exist. We have NFTs as a massive thriving ecosystem. You talked about social, gaming. All of these things are bringing different kind of audiences in. And of course, that creates a lot of distractions for even developers because they have too many choices. But one thing I'm kind of curious about is all kind of the common complaints we heard about DeFi back years ago, we thought it would be fixed when L2s show up. Fast transactions, no gas or cheap gas, or you can cancel everything without a penalty, all these things, but we still really see a massive spike in DeFi. Why do you think that is, or what's missing?
I think also that Layer 2 is exciting innovation, both optimistic and ZK EVMs. It's about scaling Ethereum, and especially with today's Ethereum prices, and the more users we're going to onboard, we're going to have more challenges with scalability. So the idea of being able to transact outside of Ethereum and periodically settle and use Ethereum as a finality layer is going to bring a lot of space to build. And I think it's quite early still because even optimistic rollups, they've been around for I guess like a year, maybe a year and a half in total.
A year at least on mainnet and even longer.
Yeah. It's really I know 1 year in DeFi is like 5 years, but like it's still very early. And I think it's the first time we actually are starting because like when people say that there might not be things to build in DeFi, I actually see more and more people coming to me and talk about DeFi, and it creates this kind of like excitement around like what could be the next things to build. And I usually talk about payments.
Let's talk more about those. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about payments quite a lot because Bitcoin in its infancy was supposed to solve peer-to-peer transactioning. Ethereum came and you essentially had a virtual computer on a blockchain, and you can make programmable finance, which is amazing. We build exciting things and scalable protocols. And now with layer 2s, we can actually go and tangibly solve the payments infrastructure, because you could actually transact in scale. And maybe it even requires like a layer 3 or some sort of additional solutions.
Off-chain, yeah.
Exactly. But that's like a very important problem to solve, because you know, we're all crypto users, and everyone has a wallet here. Everyone has an NFT, and even I'm pretty sure everyone has Pepe coins as well. But no one actually is able to pay ongoing basis with crypto, and that's a big problem, because you know, we're the builders and we're the developers, and the very first thing that we try to solve with blockchain, we really haven't been able to do so. But now we actually have a tangible choice. So whoever like actually goes and starts to think about those use cases, and also beyond that, not just building applications, but figuring how we bring businesses on chain and actually use decentralized finance, is going to be valuable. And I think that goes back to my experience when I was 15, 16, building websites. And you know, at that age, when you have some server costs, you want to offset them some way. You know, you either add Google Ads, or then you add payment methods like credit card payments for something. And Stripe was very popular then, and it created this kind of like a certainty that you can actually trust the internet payments. And effectively what happened is that any business, any part of the world could, well, not any part of most of the parts of the world could actually have a global distribution and end user client network. And that was huge. That basically brought all the businesses and a financial layer into the internet. And PayPal did, before that, even incredible job as well. And I really love the $20 liquidity mining that they had as well. So it just showcases like how early we are. And if we're able to solve the payment parts, the payment infrastructure, that is something where it brings not just end users, but businesses into Web3 on-chain economy.
I think that payment obviously is an excellent point. I mean, 13 plus years later, after Bitcoin with the title of peer-to-peer exchange, we haven't been able to make that commonplace. But what I took away from what you just said is, seems like we have now all the primitives we need, but we haven't seen those primitives being used in ways that find meaning to end consumers. Is that a fair assessment, or do you feel like we still need a few more primitives that exist in traditional finance, or maybe more in DeFi, that are preventing us from building more useful things?
I think we have everything we need. We just basically need to kind of like move from kind of like building back-end DeFi to build front-end DeFi, meaning that we're using these amazing protocols that we have, and starting to think actually like what the experience and the flow looks like on the end user side, and how we bring closer Web3 for everyday users, or maybe settlements between businesses. So I think that definitely exists. And another thing that is very exciting and valuable is that we've built interesting credit system on chain, but it's based always on digital collateralization, and in most cases over collateralization. So something that we could actually move also forward with is trying to figure out how to build a credit network, or network of credits. Yeah, I think that was the idea. So what it means is that you could actually use blockchain in terms of like registering different kinds of payment data, repayments, credit scoring, and evolve a bit from the layer of over-collateralization and start building trust networks. And some of them will fail, you know, but it's totally fine, because most of the things in life and businesses and startups fail anyways.
A lot of trial and error.
Exactly.
So we want to see more useful payments. We want to see a better way of thinking about credit systems. I guess I'm curious on, with all the excitement we're seeing on account abstraction, zero knowledge proofs, do you feel like there's an obvious thing that we can do to integrate those types of things in DeFi applications?
Yeah, and I think that's where if we're able to prove different kinds of different sort of information about yourself, when you can actually use your identity, your knowledge, your experience, and produce data, and prove that as well on chain without exposing the exact data as well, you can actually start building interesting use cases around validation of let's say, trustworthiness, credit scoring as well. So those things are very valuable for the economy because most of the people, they do start with a very low kind of like equity, which means that if you want to empower and use blockchain for empowerment, and especially with DeFi, you have to go beyond the collateralization because that infrastructure works pretty well. It's fine, but you will have to find components. How do you empower by getting and providing more access to credit? And to be honest, you could actually build a pretty damn good credit scoring and credit network on chain because even if you move today from one country to another, your credit scoring doesn't passport. So it just showcases how clunky the existing system is, and it isn't borderless and global. And I think there's a lot of ways to fix that with DeFi.
So you can add elements of privacy too there, because that helps a lot more integrations with Web 2 or just traditional finance and DeFi. And I feel like that's also a bit underexplored.
Yeah, especially because I think even the privacy itself could bring more people. But I think it's very valuable that DeFi started as a more like a public infrastructure. So not just the markets are public, but also the addresses and balances, and that kind of like created a lot of credibility, auditability as well, and that creates a bit better equitable finance. But down the line, you will have to add more privacy to DeFi, and solving that aspect is super valuable.
I absolutely agree. I want to come back to the primitives again. You are building a stablecoin, which has some unique features, and I guess I'm curious about what Go is, why did you decide to build it, and how does it work?
Yeah, Go is it's an over-collateralized asset where effectively it's based on a model where we've used already on ETHLand on the over-collateralization. We're using it. We use the same model at Aave, and where any reductions of the collateralization value will get rebalanced by liquidation. So it's a proven model. And what's interesting about Go is obviously you can mint it against your assets that you are supplying into the Aave protocol, meaning you can also earn on your collaterals while you're minting and borrowing Go. But I think regardless of the technicalities, there's so much information there. And Jess from our team made a very exciting workshop today on the technical specifications. But I think one of the biggest things that differentiates Go from anything else is the vision. And I think Go probably will be very accessible asset in the DeFi ecosystem. But the idea is to actually get Go into more payment layers and figure out those different kinds of applications and use cases where Go could actually empower and become a payment layer for internet. And I think down the line, as Go gets adoption and there's more scalability, also I believe in this concept of having choice as a user. So I frequently talk about being a liquid citizen on chain, so where you have a lot of choices, you can move your funds from one protocol to another, and there's really minimal risk of doing that because everything is based on very proven infrastructure. So as an end user, you kind of have the choice of selecting not just consumer applications, but also like infrastructures, payment rails, stable coins, communities, essentially, that represent your values and are backing the things that you appreciate in life. And I call it kind of like going beyond the face value. So if all these stablecoins are pegged into the same tracker value, going beyond that means that actually you could track, because of the traceability and the transparency, which of these stablecoins are contributing more to reduce, for example, global warming, or funding young entrepreneurs because it's on chain, and basically selecting that kind of a payment currency on your day-to-day activities. And by your choice, you can kind of like as a bigger group of community move the needle more. So I think that the vision part of getting into payment rails and helping Go is effectively a tool. It's you, the builders, that can actually build something tangible where more people have access to Go and have value in these use cases.
That's a really good way to think about that. I think people are already choosing different front ends or protocols based on what they like in communities, but extending that to money is something that you just didn't think you could do before.
I actually had an idea once that we should do at Aave like 15 different front ends and let the user just choose, and because that gives more optionality end of the day.
Well, I think social kind of peers through everything eventually.
Yeah.
That's basic. Well, let's try to talk about something that's more practical for founders here, or people thinking about going into DeFi. You kind of said that people are not coming to you more and more, which is interesting because from the surface, it looks like we're not seeing too many DeFi launches, or the things we're seeing is more version upgrades from things that are already out there. So I'm kind of curious on if somebody's thinking about building in DeFi, what should they not do?
I think they shouldn't rush. For many reasons. One, for sure, is that if you're building DeFi, it might be very mission critical software. So a good example is that if there's a rocket that doesn't make to the moon, or let's say to the orbit, that might be 100 million, 150 million issue. If a substantially high DeFi protocol gets exploited, that could cost billions. So some sort of kind of like granularity of risk is important, risk management. And also, I will not go too fast because you have to take time to build things. But especially if you're gonna think of becoming a founder, there's a lot of new things that you're gonna learn. And spending time and learning is probably the most valuable thing to do. And I think in my early days, things were moving super fast, and I kind of like regret that I didn't try to slow down and take more time in learning a lot of the things I'm doing now.
Do you have kind of frameworks for how you think about what idea to pick and how you should think about starting something now in 2023 in DeFi?
A lot of people come and in terms of like showing kind of like proposing improvements into existing infrastructure. So creating a slightly better AMM or slightly better lending protocol or slightly better stablecoin. But I really recommend to do something that is very contrarian and maybe even isn't really a marginal improvement on the existing DeFi ecosystem, but actually something that is very even risky. But if it works, it really proves something. It actually like can actually prove some new use cases as well. And also, good advice is that you should ship. I would not say ship slowly, but shipping in a way that
helps you kind of prove
frequently
the hype. Oh, I see.
Like frequently, but small updates will be the good idea. Small updates.
Small updates. That's just incremental.
Incremental
progress, but not incremental ideas.
I usually say that like the best case is to ship every week something out, even something small. Like you wanna leave Friday night your computer by getting something out, and probably by Wednesday by Saturday it's already broken. But who cares? It's you're doing it also for fun. And if your app isn't breaking once a day, You aren't shipping fast enough. That's another lesson I have.
Sometimes, don't do that instead of security. Security matters. Let's add a big asterisk there. Front ends can break.
In testnet.
In testnet, that's fine. Well, I think that's a wonderful note to end on. Stani, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And feel free to grab him later for tickets to Rave.
Yes.
All right, the last thing that you all have been waiting for before you can go back to hacking, and that's all the prizes. I'll keep this very quick. I'll wrap this up in the next 2 to 5 minutes. I don't know how fast I'm going to talk. We have over $275,000 in prizes, and I want to just summarize some of the big ones. 1inch is our first one. So 1inch is giving $20,000. So the best use of Fusion API will get $4,000 for first place, $3,000 for second place, and $2,000 for the third place winner. The best yield implementation protocol on 1inch will receive $3,500 for the very first prize, $2,000 for the second place, and $1,000 for the third runner-up. And for the open track, which means if you're just using 1inch SDKs, you can win $2,500 for the first prize place, $1,500 for second, and $500 for the second one. Next up is WorldCoin. WorldCoin is also giving $20,000. The best overall hack on top of WorldCoin's SDKs will receive $4,000. The next 3 honorable mentions will receive $1,000 each. The best governance app will get $3,000 that uses the WorldCoin SDKs. The most creative use case of World ID will be receiving $3,000. And the best sign-in with WorldCoin app will receive $2,000. And the last one is a pool prize, which means that all successful integrations of the WorldCoin SDKs will split $3,000 equally. Then we have Optimism. So Optimism is doing prizes in 3 different categories. If you hack on the OP stack, you can win $4,000 for the first place, $3,000 for the second place, and $1,000 for third. If you build on decentralized identity on top of Optimism, the first place prize is $4,000, and second place is $3,000, and third is $1,000. And 10 teams will receive $200 for deploying on the Optimism mainnet, whatever your app may be. Then we have Polygon. Polygon is also giving $20,000 in prizes. So the best cross-chain ZK EVM hack will receive $5,000. The best hack to use Polygon ID will get $5,000 as well. The best public good with account abstraction will get $5,000. And the best, and there's a pool prize of $5,000, which means anyone who deploys on Polygon will be splitting this $5,000 equally. Then we have Gnosis Chain. The most innovative dApps on Gnosis Chain will receive $6,000 for the first place, $5,000 for second, and $2,000 for third place. The best AI project built on top of Gnosis or uses the Gnosis chain will get $3,000. The best project on Hashi will get $2,000, and the best project on Safe will be receiving $2,000. Then you have up to $10,000 each from Airstack, ApeCoin, ZK-Bob, Fuel, Safe, Ethereum Foundation, Cartesi, and UMA. And also for MetaMask, Filecoin Virtual Machine, Lens Protocol, Uniswap Foundation, the Graph Foundation, and Aave Grand Style. All of these protocols are giving individually up to $10,000 in prizes. And then we have Mantle, Chainlink, Scroll, Neon Foundation, Sysmo, and Nouns giving $5,000 prizes each. All those specifics on what those prizes are, how you can find more information is all on the website, ethglobal.com/Lisbon. You can see every single detail about what qualifies, what the specifics are, links to their documentation. If they did a workshop today, that workshop video will be available there as well. And all of that will now also be available and accessible to you on your dashboard. So last but not the least, please, please, please pace yourself. We really don't want this thing to be exhausting for you. We want all of you to have fun. And this whole weekend is about learning and experimentation because our goal is to show you what is going to be exciting in a year from now. So with all of that, I wish all of you happy hacking, and we'll see you on Sunday. Thanks, everybody.